Former Russian Transport Minister Roman Starovoit has been found dead in his car with a gunshot wound, investigators have confirmed. Starovoit was dismissed hours earlier by order of President Vladimir Putin after Ukrainian drone strikes disrupted air traffic in Russia. Svetlana Petrenko, a spokeswoman for Russia's Investigative Committee, said on July 7 that Starovoit's body was found in his personal car in the Odintsovo district of the Moscow region. She stressed that the main possibility was suicide. Putin appointed Starovoit's deputy and former governor of the Kursk region, Andrei Nikitin, as interim transport minister. While Russian officials have not linked Starovoit's dismissal to the aviation crisis, analysts say the timing raises some questions about potential scapegoating. Russia's transport ministry said on July 6 that up to 400 flights across the country had been cancelled. 171 flights were cancelled at Sheremetyevo Airport in Moscow and 90 flights were cancelled at Pulkovo in St. Petersburg, with delays exceeding 2 hours due to Ukrainian drones. This was met with displeasure in the Kremlin. The Russian Defense Ministry said last night that 91 Ukrainian drones were shot down. On July 7, Russian forces launched strikes on Ukraine. Ukraine announced that 75 of 101 Russian drones had been shot down. According to the Shot Telegram channel, a gun was found near Roman Starovoit's body. MASH writes that Starovoit shot himself with a prize gun he received from the leadership of the Ministry of Internal Affairs in 2023. His body was found in his house in the village of Myakonino. According to preliminary information, Starovoit's suicide may be related to a possible criminal case. Sources say that the former head of the Kursk region, Alexei Smirnov, who previously worked as his deputy, testified against Roman Starovoit, the Bucha Telegram channel wrote. The Kommersant newspaper also wrote, citing its source, that the defendants in the case of the theft of at least 1 billion rubles allocated for the construction of protective structures on the border with Ukraine have testified against Starovoit, and it is alleged that Smirnov, the former governor of the Kursk region, is among them. Andrei Nikitin, head of the State Duma Defense Committee, confirmed the information about the former minister's death to RTVA, saying it happened a very long time ago. Russian President Vladimir Putin dismissed Starovoit from his post as Minister of Transport on the morning of July 7. Starovoit had held this post since May 2024. Before that, he was the governor of the Kursk region. The reason for his dismissal was not disclosed. Ukraine's drone attacks caused major chaos in Russian air traffic over the weekend. The largest airports serving Moscow and St. Petersburg were among those forced to limit activities on Sunday. Airlines lost about 20 billion rubles or $253.7 million due to the collapse of air traffic on July 5 to 6 due to Ukrainian drone attacks. The costs of canceling flights in the first 24 hours at 3 airports are estimated at 4 to 6 billion rubles. This is reported by the Kommersant newspaper. As of 1800 hours on July 6, more than 537 flights have been cancelled at Sheremetyevo, Pulkovo and Strogino airports, and over 376 have been delayed by more than 2 hours. It is noted that the airline loses from 15 to 23 million rubles from the cancellation of one flight of a Boeing 737-800 aircraft in a 2-class layout. This amount includes the costs of airport services at average rates, crew work and fuel. Thus, in the first day, the cancellation of flights at 3 airports cost the companies 3.9 to 5.9 billion rubles. It is specified that, on average, the amount of additional costs for airlines due to widespread disruptions to flight schedules in Russia per day could reach 20 billion rubles. Earlier it was reported that air traffic between Moscow and St. Petersburg could be restricted again. Pulkovo Airport introduced a carpet regime for the reception and release of civil aircraft. Due to restrictions on the operation of airports in central Russia, more than 500 flights were postponed or cancelled. The largest number of cancellations and delays occurred at Sheremetyevo Airport, about 200 flights. About 100 flights were postponed or cancelled at Pulkovo. About 50 flights were postponed at Nikovo, and about 30 flights were postponed in Sochi. Passengers were recommended to travel by train as an alternative. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said 6 Ukrainian drones were shot down as they approached the capital, but he did not provide details on possible damage. The governor of the Belgorod region, Vyacheslav Gladkov, said Ukrainian drones injured 2 civilians near the border area. The Ukrainian attacks followed several major bombings by Russian forces in Kiev, which killed at least 2 people and injured dozens more. Another attack by the invading Russian army near the city of Pokrovsk in Donetsk region has been repelled. The invaders, attempting to advance with a tank equipped with anti-drone devices and 2 infantry fighting vehicles, were stopped by drone and artillery strikes from the Corsair battalion. Although infantry soldiers dismounted from the vehicles tried to advance, they were unsuccessful. A series of strikes destroyed the armored vehicles, which exploded along with their crews and other soldiers inside.